So while not trying to spoil too much about Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I think if you're a hardcore fan, you probably already know how the game ends. And you probably already know about the setup and the post-credit scene, which I've already talked about. Now, of course, that post-credit scene gives us a pretty big indicator as to a lot of the mythos that they're going to be playing around with and changing in regards to Spider-Man. Now, the big one we're talking about here is, of course, the fact that Harry Osborn is actually being experimented on by Norman, and it looks like he's the one that's bound to the symbiote. Now, obviously, that right there is a huge departure from Spider-Man lore, but they're building their own world here, and quite clearly, I think this is, without any sort of hesitation, a confirmation that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is going to focus on Venom being the primary villain. Now, you have to kind of think about what Sony's strategy is here, right? You know, Venom is one of the most popular Spider-Man villains of all time. He has a big movie coming out. It's a Sony property, and they didn't include him or the black suit in this. Clearly, they wanted to make this a big focus of it. And when you really think about it like that and trying to strategize and what they're doing here, they essentially want to retell the Venom tale, but they want to retell it from a new certain point of view. Now, obviously, the one you can most, I guess, closely compare this to would be something along the lines of Ultimate Spider-Man, where it wasn't from space or anything, it was a suit that was made to try to cure cancer. Now, they're taking a different approach, of course, because in Marvel Spider-Man, we learned that Harry Osborn has a degenerative disease. And honestly, they make it seem like it's going to be the Goblin serum, but they throw in a twist right after the game ends. Now, looking at it that way, honestly, I think they're going to be playing around with both. And I think by the time Marvel Spider-Man 2 comes out, we're going to be seeing that the Green Goblin is going to be a villain. And it is going to be Norman Osborn. But he's going to get upstaged by the true villain of the game, which is going to end up being Venom. So I would honestly expect them to do the same type of marketing technique that they did for the first game, where they primarily focus on one villain. And that's the one they want you to know about, aka they wanted us to think it's all about Mr. Negative, right? But in the end, it's all about Norman Osborn and how he's involved with the actual villain, who happens to be Dr. Octopus. And I think that that's going to be their strategy. We're going to know Venom is in it. He's going to be the highlight because Venom sells. You put him on that cover, you show that black suit, you get, tons of fans that are going crazy about it. But then the Green Goblin ends up being the true villain. And obviously they can take a ton of different approaches and liberties with how they play out with this universe, as they have in the first game. So you guys, let me know your thoughts on this, and do you think Venom will be the primary villain of the upcoming sequel?